Hello, this is Frank Falvey with Frank Presents. And today it's a great honor to have a friend of mine that we go back years,
Many years.
when you were running for the Governor's Council,
Yes.
which is getting a little historic highlights this time of year,
Yes.
Mr. Bob Jubinville.
Thank you.
Bob, welcome to the program again. It's been quite a while.
My pleasure to be here and to see you, Frank.
Yeah. Bob, the district attorney. What is the district attorney? What do you perceive the office to do, and what would you perceive that your responsibilities would be as a district attorney for Norfolk County?
Yeah, so the district attorney, the elected district attorneys, I believe there's about 10 or 11 of them in the Commonwealth that are elected. And
Are the ones that are unelected?
no,
Yeah.
they're elected. If there's somebody resigns or the death, then the governor can appoint somebody for the rest of the term. Then you have to run again. But the job of the elected district attorney today and for a long time is not one where the elected district attorney tries cases. They haven't done that in decades. In fact, the last time it was done was down in Cape Cod, and I did the case, and the DA, Mike O'Keefe, actually tried it. But they don't try cases because they've got maybe 100 or more people in the office that they have to manage, and to take 6 months off and prepare a case would be not good. So it's called the chief law enforcement of the county, and their job is to prosecute crimes brought to them by police officers. A police officer arrests somebody, let's say, for drunk driving, takes a complaint out in the district court, then the district attorney's office would take the case and adjudicate it, either try the case or settle the case or dismiss the case, whatever. And that's done in the district courts of Norfolk County, and then there's a section that assistant DAs prosecute serious matters, felonies, murders, and other felonies that go before a grand jury, and the grand jury issues a true bill, and the people are tried in the Superior Court, and there are assistant DAs that handle those more serious matters in the Superior Court. But the elected district attorney is an administrator. He hires people, he trains people, and he should make sure that those people don't do things that bring shame and dishonor to the Commonwealth. And the way you do that is by keeping a tight leash on those assistant district attorneys. And when you don't, well, then we have what we have now in Norfolk County because of some high-profile cases that have brought this all out.
Right. Before we get into that, Bob, why don't you tell us a little about your background as an attorney, as governor's counsel, and...
Okay, I grew up in Holyoke, Massachusetts, which is out in western Mass, and I had various jobs as a young kid. I lived and worked in a boys' club in Holyoke, and did all kinds of different jobs there, and started off in college, but I didn't do well, so I got asked to leave. So I became a union sprinkler fitter. And I worked that job for a couple of years, and then I got notified by the President of the United States that he wanted me to come into the service.
His personal invitation.
Yes. So I went in the United States Army, and I was an experimental test subject in the Army. When I get out of the Army, I went on the Mass State Police, got my degree, and went to law school. And as soon as I graduated and passed the bar, I started practicing criminal defense, which I did for 43 years.
Did you ever work for the district attorney's office?
I only worked there. Not really. I was never assigned to that office. But I've worked with thousands of assistant district attorneys and knew and still know most of the elected district attorneys in the Commonwealth. So I have a good sense of what makes a good assistant district attorney and what doesn't. I've met some wonderful ones, and I've met some ones that never should be in a position to recommend harm to somebody, and some that don't play by the rules and hide evidence. And, we've seen it throughout our state and the country where a fellow goes to jail for 20, 30, sometimes 40 years, and DNA exonerates him. But there was a assistant DA in the courtroom pointing to him and yelling at a jury that he committed this terrible crime. So,
Which was his job.
which was his job, but it's not his job to hide evidence or to not give the defense lawyer all of what is in the file. And that's happened over the years,
Now,
unfortunately.
the district attorney's office has no particular investigatory power.
Well,
You have what, state police or other police
yes.
assigned to your office?
You can also have people sworn in as district attorneys with power to investigate. But most of it is done by state police officers that you bring into your office, and they work for the state police, but they are an investigative arm. And there are local police detectives that investigate also. So they do the bulk of the investigation.
Now, the present district attorney is going to be out of office
Yes.
because he's not rerunning and his reputation has been seriously tarnished. But when the new district attorney comes in, when you come in, right, what do you see as the challenge to reform the office? And do you have some thoughts about how that office needs to be reformed?
Well, unfortunately, the district attorney's office in Norfolk County, its reputation has suffered and suffered greatly. In my view, self-inflicted, all of it. It didn't have to happen. The assistant district attorneys convinced the elected district attorney that it was a good idea to do what they did, unfortunately. And that's why I say you have to keep a tight leash on assistant district attorneys. So if I'm elected by the people of Norfolk County, I plan on doing a few things. The first call I'm going to make is to the state auditor to have her audit the place, and I'll make that public.
Now, the state auditor, just, audit to me means financial.
Yep.
The state auditor does not do financial audits. It's a program or a performance type of audit.
Right.
So what would the state auditor be going through and looking for?
Whether the money spent was proper. I am told unofficially that these high-profile cases, the second person that they hired to do the second trial was paid anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million. And unofficially, rumors.
This is the second trial of Karen Reed?
Yes. And unofficially, the floating around numbers of somewhere around $2 million so far has been spent. And of course, there's a lot of civil cases going on now. And I suspect that the district attorneys that are being sued or police that are being sued, usually the public picks up the legal fees for those people. So the cost is still going on over this fiasco. So what I would do after that is I would form an independent board to look at everything that police assigned to the district attorney's office did.
Would it remove all state police that were associated with the prior administration?
I probably would. I would, because that's usually done anyway to some extent. But I would, based upon the publicity that has been generated over these last few years, and it's all perception to the public. You know, what are you doing? How are you going to make it better? So my answer is yes. That would be done, but I think it's important to have an independent board review all of the actions of the police officers, because we've heard so much about certain officers and what they did. And also to go through all the files that I could go through with this board to see whether, you know, there were cases that didn't get the publicity that the Reed case and the other cases got. That there might have been something there that should be looked at, that there was no publicity. God forbid there's somebody sitting in jail because of inappropriate investigation, tainted investigation.
So how would you review the performance of your assistant district attorneys?
Well, I would want to know and find out who was involved in these cases and to what extent they were involved. You know, I was asked by somebody, would you, remove everybody in the office and start fresh? And I said, well, there's about 100 people in that office or more. Most of them had nothing to do with the Karen Reed case.
But let's be clear, most of the attorneys in that office are young people right out of law school.
That's true.
That are, this is their training ground.
Sure.
Either to be prosecutors or to be defense lawyers.
Right.
And they're handling most of your caseload, right? Is going to be minor caseload in district courts. Is that correct?
No, there's probably more cases, but they're not as serious as the ones in the Superior Court. So you have a whole bunch of misdemeanors and some felonies that the district court handles, but the district court, much more cases,
right,
with all the district courts put together,
right,
than the Superior Court.
And that's where most of your young attorneys are.
That's correct.
So if you have 100, what do you have, 10, 15 in Superior Court?
Probably. I don't know the exact number. I think there's about 60, 65 assistant district attorneys total, and most of them are in the district court. Yeah.
Would you somehow change, or is there another way of picking district attorneys for the Superior Court? Is pay a problem?
I don't think pay is a big problem. It may be to some extent. I'm not sure of that. But yes, the prosecutors that are in the Superior Court are and should be much more experienced prosecutors than those in the district court. Because in the Superior Court, you're handling everything from murder to other very serious felonies. So, and they, not all of them, but there's a good percentage of them that are tried. So you need some good trial lawyers, prosecutors that know their stuff to try in the Superior Court. Preparation takes a long time for those cases.
Now, you not only have been a defense attorney throughout your life, but you're now with the Middlesex Court, is it?
Well, I'm a clerk of court in Framingham District Court.
You're the clerk of court
Right.
in the Framingham District Court.
Right.
So you have a chance to see a lot of attorneys and how they perform.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So there's a case that you have some familiarity not only with how the district courts and the courts work, but with who's doing what.
Yes, and I've had a lot of experience with Norfolk County District Assistant District Attorneys over the years. And some of them are, I find, very good people. It's important that you get young lawyers that come into the office and train them appropriately, so they become better prosecutors, and that's better for the citizens of the Commonwealth. No question about it.
Is there in choosing cases? I mean, the cases kind of come from the ground up, right?
Yes.
Where do you stand on drug cases? You know, young people are dying. You have the police have the Narcan, is it?
Yes.
And now we're moving toward even having some police designated to help people that obviously seem to be on drugs or something. Would you give more attention and emphasis to that area, or is there an area that isn't being sufficiently covered now in the district attorney's office?
Well, drug cases, you have to look at what the person did in the drug case. Are they people that are addicted and are buying drugs for the addiction? We have drug courts in the Commonwealth. I'm a big believer in drug courts.
Can you just take a minute and talk about that for a second?
Yeah. So what drug courts is, if you agree to go into a drug court, you may spend a year and a half going, once a month, every 2 months to the drug court. And as part of the program, you are in programs to beat the addiction, so to speak, like alcohol, like Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotic Anonymous. So it's important, I believe, to make sure that those people get the help they need. They don't need to be prosecuted and end up with a record that will follow them the rest of their life. It's important to get them the treatment they need, and if they follow the program for a period of time and they do what's asked of them, then the cases are dismissed. So they don't end up with records. But there are so many, people that are addicted, and I've represented scores of people that have been addicted. And
would you be working more closely with organizations that help have programs to help that type of individual and family?
Absolutely, yeah. That to me is a big part of what you can do. I say to people, a good DA prosecutes crimes. A great DA prevents crimes.
Right.
And you prevent crimes, in my view, by giving people that chance so they don't get in the system. They don't go to jail. They don't go to state prison, where the stigma follows them forever, just about. So if we can prevent that by giving people programs, getting them clean and off drugs, getting them back into the workforce, and saving them a conviction on their record, to me, that's what I want to be remembered for, not how many people I put in jail.
Well, what you want to be remembered for brings me to, why are you running? Are you running because it's a personal a goal that you would like to accomplish, or are you running because there's an ethical situation that you want to see changed? What is the motivation
Well,
to be in this race?
you know, both of those. I spent most of my adult life in courts. I love courts. I've always loved being in courts. And, you know, when I see what's happened to the district attorney's office and the reputation that has suffered greatly, that didn't have to happen. I wanna spend the next 4 years, if I'm elected, bringing back that reputation, and I will bring it back. And that reputation will be what it was that I remember from DAs. It'll be one of the best in the Commonwealth. In 4 years, I will accomplish that.
Well, so your term of office would be 4 years, which brings us to another question. How long do you anticipate being a district attorney? Because usually, once elected to this type of office, it's a lifetime job as long as you want it.
Yes, it is. Well, I'm going to say we'll start off with 4 years and we'll see where that goes. But my goal is to bring that office's reputation back to where it once was. And I'm going to do that in 4 years, without a doubt. I will do that.
Do you have colleagues that you kind of rely on, maybe as a group that will be assessing your performance? I don't mean a formal group. I mean an informal, presidential cabinet that will be talking with you, and you'll be talking with them on what 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 you say in 4 years your goals will be accomplished. In the first year, will the public know what your goals are so that they can move along with you and seeing how that is coming about?
Well, I believe in total transparency. Total. And
Total transparency.
yes.
There aren't times that maybe things shouldn't
Well, there are
come to light.
laws that say you can't do certain things, and I wouldn't violate those laws. But if the law doesn't tell me I can't do it, then I believe in giving it out. People should know they're hiring me, they're paying me, they're paying the assistant district attorneys.
So you're going to come on my program every so often and say, Frank, here's the transparency that you need to know about.
Anytime you ask. Yeah, but there are some goals that I want to do. And one of them is to do everything I can to keep President Trump's tentacles out of Norfolk County. And I've said to you, I want to appoint an independent body to investigate or to review the actions of police officers in that court.
You were telling me about an incident where not protesters, people were expressing their opinion and stance on a case where officers were in a bar across the street from where they were holding signs and protesting. And you see that as a very strong civil liberties violation that the police did. Can you just mention that seems to really have...
They were called the Canton Nine. 9 people holding signs on a sidewalk across the street from a drinking establishment where people in the Reed case went to drink the night of the crime, or the night of the incident with Boston police officer O'Keefe. And they were evidently, a police officer came, took their names, and got a complaint from the district court. And the 9 of them had to appear in district court. And to me, I always thought that you could hold a sign in this country and have free speech as long as you weren't, bothering anybody or disrupting traffic or those kind of things. But evidently, they were doing nothing except holding the signs. But I think that was a bad decision to ask for the complaint and a bad decision for the clerk to give that complaint.
Is your office funded solely from Norfolk County funding, or are you directly funded by the state? How is your office funded?
Well, it's Norfolk County, and Norfolk still has county commissioners. Some of the counties, as you know, were done away with. So logistically, I'm not sure how that works, whether the county gets a budget from the state and then dispenses the money in county agencies. I'm not sure of how that works because I've never been part of that. I don't know whether the DA's budget, I know it's voted on by the legislature and it's given to the DA's office. So I'm going to assume it comes from the state budget.
Okay.
But I don't know the ins and outs of all of that.
What's the question that I haven't asked you that you'd like to talk to the public that's watching the program?
Well, I'd like the public to know that, all the years that I've been involved in courts, I have a lot of experience. And
You do. And your background over your lifetime, in fact, people may not be aware, but you have a daughter that's a judge.
Yes, I do.
And your dedication, I think, has been exemplary.
Yeah, and as you know, I was on the governor's council for 10 years. And the reason I ran for that was because I was sick and tired of going before judges who I thought were people that shouldn't be put on the bench. And I did my best to vote for people that I thought should be and vote against people that shouldn't be. My biggest, one of my important decisions was advocating and voting for the first woman of color to be chief judge of the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court.
Did that work out?
Wonderful. Yeah, she's a wonderful chief, in my view. But some of the do we have enough time to?
Yeah.
My other goals are things that are important to me. Is I'm a big supporter of victims of domestic abuse. I've seen it over the years. I've represented people in that, and I see it in the court. And to me, most of the victims are women. I see them come in with black eyes and bloody lips, and that's, if I'm the DA and you get charged with that and you get convicted, you're going to pay for that.
Let's be clear. As the district attorney, you seem to have certain powers in reviewing cases and giving, well, this one here, I'll give so much manpower, or this one here doesn't seem that it meets the merit of going forward, or that this one really, has to be prosecuted at as soon as possible at the highest level. That rests within solely you.
Yes, it's a discretion of the district attorney to do that. Yes.
And there's no one higher than you that you're reporting to.
No. But like we spoke about drug courts, there's veterans courts, there's mental health courts. They're wonderful. They do great work. We should make it more with money into those areas because we have so many people in the judicial system.
So what is it that causes you to be in those courts?
Well, I've represented a lot of people that were in veterans courts, mental health courts.
No, as district attorney, I'm talking
As district attorney, well, you get to make recommendations in those courts. One of your assistant district attorneys that are assigned to that court will make a recommendation to a judge about what should happen to this individual, depending on the crime committed. Obviously, there are, crimes that are on the lower end of the serious
Right.
crimes, and there are some that are extremely serious.
Right.
And I think a good DEA should know the difference.
Okay.
And
Bob, if people want to reach you and help you campaign, put up signs or donate money or time, how can they do that?
yeah, well, they can call me at 617-306-5897.
All right, let's repeat that and take it slow again.
617-306-5897. Or they can email me at Jubinville, Jubinville, @Comcast.net. You can go on my website, votejubinville.com, and read it, and you can obviously put in your name if you want to help, and I'll get a hold of you or someone on my campaign staff will. And we'd appreciate any help we can get.
Franklin is an important part of this election because of the population and being at this end of the district.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people think, well, Quincy is going to elect the next district attorney, but that's not true, is it?
Not at all true.
Not at all
Not
true.
at all.
So it is extremely important, really, to review and understand where the 7 candidates, right, are, and because the Democratic election will be on September 1st. It will be probably from 6 to 8 at the high school gymnasium. And in Massachusetts, you can vote early. You need to request the ballot now. I've already received mail to that regard.
Yeah.
And there's all, if you have any questions, Nancy at the town clerk's office is very helpful.
Voting will start around August 1st, mail-in ballots. You'll be able to, that's how quick it's going to come. That's only a couple of weeks away.
I simply think that's too early to start voting, but that's my personal. I mean, what happens between August 1st and September 1st, right? That may significantly change
No question
your opinion or your mind. I mean, the guy up in Maine, I mean, I think you could see that coming 2 months ahead, and yet it went down to the wire. He could have stayed in the race, except he withdrew the day before.
Yeah. No, I agree, but
All right.
the powers that be, Frank, have decided that mail-in ballots is the way to go. And for some people that can't get around, it's a good thing.
Bob, thank you for being on the show. I look forward to you coming back and being transparent in what's going on in the district attorney's office.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
This program was made possible by your Franklin friends and neighbors, good folks just like you. Thanks for supporting Franklin TV. And thanks for watching.